My name is Brooke Callahan, and I'm 38 years old. You'd think by this age I'd be done with the kind of relationship drama that belongs in group chats and tequila nights, not in a mortgage-paying retirement-contributing life. I thought so too. Right up until the Tuesday afternoon my boyfriend publicly announced that another woman used to be his happiness. Not to me, not in a private message, on his social media to the entire world. If you'd looked at my life on paper a week ago, you probably would have said something comfortably smug like, "She's fine, she's stable, she's got it figured out." I'd been with my boyfriend Ryan Mercer for almost 3 years. He's 35, works in marketing, has his own place but spends most nights at mine. We'd talked about officially moving in together. We'd floated the idea of getting engaged sometime this year. Nothing dramatic, nothing chaotic, just slow, steady adult decisions. I work from home most days in a small 2-bedroom condo that I bought myself. My spreadsheets are color-coded. My bills are on auto-pay. On the outside, my life looks like a Pinterest board of grown-up, functioning human. And for a long time, I really did believe Ryan and I were on the same page. Then Tuesday happened. I was at my desk, deep in an email thread, when my phone started buzzing. One notification, then another, then another. Texts, social apps, more texts. By the 8th or 9th vibration, the sound had burrowed under my skin. I grabbed my phone. 3 messages from my sister. "What is going on with you and Ryan? Call me, Brooke. Seriously, are you okay?" 2 from my best friend. "Just saw his post. You good?" 1 from a colleague who barely knows Ryan exists. "Hey, saw something online. Just checking in." My stomach tightened. I opened the social app and went straight to Ryan's profile. A photo, not some old grainy throwback, a recent shot. He was at some outdoor festival, and standing in front of him, smiling at the camera, was his ex-girlfriend Sophie. The caption under the photo was short, almost casual. "Used to be my happiness." My vision tunneled for a solid minute. I just stared at the screen. "Used to be my happiness." Posted 30 minutes ago. 40-some likes already. A dozen comments. "You two were perfect together. Do you guys still keep in touch?" There wasn't a single mention of me. I scrolled through the comments like maybe I'd missed one. Some tiny acknowledgement that he is currently in a relationship with a woman who lets him keep his cereal in her pantry and his spare charger on her nightstand. Nothing. I hit call. The phone rang, and on the 4th ring, he picked up. "Hey," he said casual. "What's up?" "Did you post a photo of Sophie?" I didn't ease into it. Silence. A half-second pause. "Yeah," he said finally. "Why?" With the caption, "Used to be my happiness." "It's just a post, Brooke." My fingers dug into the arm of my chair. "It's not just a post. It's you publicly saying that your ex used to be your happiness while you're in a relationship with me." Past tense. He said like that made everything better. "Used to be. You're reading too much into it." "Ryan, I have my sister, my best friend, and a coworker texting me to ask if we're still together." "That's their problem," he shot back. "Not everything is about you." That line landed differently. "You're right," I said slowly, feeling something in me harden. "Not everything is about me, but when you're in a relationship with me, something should be." "Oh my God," he groaned. "You're being so dramatic." "You just told 100 people your ex used to be your happiness while you're practically living at my place." "It was a memory. That's it." "Then why didn't you tell me you were posting it?" "I'm not doing this right now," he snapped. "I'm at work. When I get home. I need space. You're being suffocating." He hung up. I stared at my phone. The worst part wasn't even the post. It was the way he made me feel insane for caring. This wasn't the first time either. There had been other things. Little things I had filed under no big deal. The way he dropped her name in passing. The way he'd get defensive if I asked basic questions. The cryptic lyrics he'd post at 2 a.m. while sleeping in my bed. Every time I'd ask if something was wrong, he'd say it wasn't about me, that I needed to stop overthinking. And like an idiot, I had believed him. I went into settings and deactivated every single social account. Then I turned my phone completely off. Not silent, not do not disturb. Off. The silence that followed was almost physical. I made coffee and sat on the couch, staring out the window. For the first time in months, there was no noise between me and my thoughts. Just me and the realization that this didn't come out of nowhere. This was a pattern I'd been too scared to name. I don't know how long I sat there. Long enough that when my landline rang, the sound made me jump. I picked it up. Hello? Brooke, it's Ellen, Ryan's mom. I'm so sorry to call you like this, but is everything okay with you two? For a second, my brain couldn't connect the voice to the name. Then it clicked. Hi, is everything okay? That's what I'm calling to ask you, she said. I tried calling Ryan. His phone's going straight to voicemail. Then I tried you and it didn't even ring. I pulled your number from his emergency contact information. It's okay, I cut in. You're fine. I just turned my phone off for a bit. A break from what, honey? From the notifications, I said slowly. From people asking me why my boyfriend just posted his ex on social media, like she's still the headline act of his life. Ellen exhaled. I saw the post, she said quietly. That's actually why I went looking for your number. I'm guessing he didn't tell you about it beforehand either, I said. No, she said. He never does when it comes to her. Can I be honest with you, Brooke? She asked suddenly. Really honest? Not as his mother, but as someone who likes you a lot. Something in my chest pulled tight. Please. I've been worried about him for a while. He's been off, distant. When I ask about you two, he changes the subject. I saw that post today, and my first thought was, oh no, here we go again. Because when he starts looking backward instead of forward, when he starts romanticizing what didn't work, it means he's not okay where he is. The words slipped out before I could stop them. So, what does that make me? Placeholder? Honey, she said, I don't think you're a placeholder. I think you're safe. And he doesn't know what to do with safe. He confuses stability with boredom. Anger flared hot in my throat. You think he's checked out? I think, Ellen said carefully, that he's been halfway out the door for a while. But instead of having the courage to say, I don't know what I want, he's letting things deteriorate. He's making you feel like you're crazy for noticing. Why are you telling me this? My voice cracked. Because I like you, she said simply. Because you have been good for him and good to him. Because you don't deserve to be gaslit into thinking your feelings are unreasonable, and if he won't be honest, someone should be. We talked a few minutes longer. When I hung up, the condo felt different. It wasn't just in my head. It wasn't me being dramatic or needy. Ryan's own mother saw the same cracks I did. I picked up my phone and pressed the power button. Within seconds, the notifications started stacking up. 73 notifications. Most of them were from Ryan. 26 missed calls, 15 text messages, 3 voicemails. I opened his messages. They started worried. Where are you? Then they shifted. This is ridiculous. You can't just disappear because of a post. Then, predictably, blame. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You make everything a big deal. You're being dramatic, Brooke. Nothing about understanding why I might be hurt. Nothing about the caption. Just frustration that I wasn't immediately available to absorb his justification. The third voicemail was different. My mom called me, he said, voice tight with anger. She said she talked to you. What did you tell her? Call me back now. I didn't call. Instead, I typed slowly. I'm fine. I needed space to think, that's all. His call came in almost immediately. I declined. He called again. Declined. A text arrived. We need to talk. I typed back. Not tonight. This is immature. Maybe, but I need time. Time for what? To decide if you're breaking up with me over a post? It's not just about the post, I wrote. It's about how you handled it, how you've been for months. I need to figure out what I want. He didn't reply right away. So you're just going to make a decision about us without even talking to me? I'm going to take some time to think, I wrote. Then we'll talk. I set the phone face down and flipped the ringer to silent. I ordered takeout, forced myself to eat, then put on a documentary I only half followed. When I finally went to bed, the other side of the mattress felt starkly empty. For the first time in weeks, I slept straight through the night. The next morning, more messages from Ryan. Not a single one said, "I'm sorry." Not one attempted to understand why I was hurt. Instead, "You're blowing this out of proportion. Are you really doing the silent treatment at your age?" At my age. The irony nearly made me laugh. Another text notification appeared. Ellen Mercer. I picked up. "Brooke," she said, voice tight. "I'm so sorry." "For what?" I asked. "For getting you pulled into something you didn't deserve. I spoke to him last night, and he is furious with me. He said I blew things out of proportion. He refuses to see what he did wrong." "He might show up at your place today," Ellen warned. "He said he's not doing this guessing game anymore." "Thanks for the warning," I said. "And Brooke," she added, "whatever happens, please don't let him twist this into being your fault." By lunchtime, the anxiety of waiting was worse than facing him directly. I texted him, "We need to talk tonight. My place, 7 p.m. He responded instantly, "Finally, I'll be there." At 6:45 p.m., my front door opened. He let himself in with the spare key. "Hey," he said, voice clipped. "Hey." He crossed his arms. "So, are we going to talk about how you've been acting?" I blinked. "That's not what this conversation is about." "Oh, then what is it about, Brooke? Because from my perspective, you're blowing up our relationship over a post. One post that meant nothing." "That's not true," I said quietly. "It's about everything, Ryan. The post was just the tipping point." He scoffed. "Honestly, I think you're overreacting." "Do you hear yourself?" I asked. "I tell you something hurts me, and you tell me I'm wrong for feeling anything." "I'm not invalidating you," he said. "I just think your reaction is excessive." "I called you to talk about something that bothered me," I said. "That's not excessive. That's communication. You dismissed me, called me dramatic, and said I was suffocating you." "You talked to my mom," he said flatly. "She called me. She was worried about both of us." "She had no right." "Did she lie?" He hesitated. "Are you happy, Ryan?" He didn't answer. "Are you checked out?" Silence. "Ryan," I whispered, "look at me." He lifted his eyes slowly, and for the first time, I saw fear. "I don't know," he said finally. "I don't know if I'm happy. I don't know what I want." My breath caught. "How long have you felt this way?" "A few months," he admitted. "And you didn't think to tell me?" "I was trying to figure it out. I didn't want to hurt you." "So instead," I whispered, "you withdrew. You posted about your ex. You picked fights. You made me feel like I was the problem." He looked away. "Ryan," I said, "I care about you, I do. But I can't be in a relationship where I'm the only one trying to hold us together." He swallowed hard. "What are you saying?" "I think we need to take a break. A real one. Space. Time for you to figure out what you want. And time for me to figure out if I'm willing to wait while you do." "So you're breaking up with me?" "I'm giving us a chance to be honest," I said. "Maybe for the first time." He stared at me. "Do you want me to pack my things?" I nodded. "Take whatever you need. Leave your key." He disappeared into the bedroom. After 10 long minutes, he returned. He placed his key on the kitchen counter with a soft, metallic click. "I'm sorry," he said. "Me too." He left. My phone buzzed a few minutes later. "I don't want to lose you. Please don't give up on us." I turned the phone over face down. For the second night in a row, the condo was quiet. But this time, the silence didn't feel like a wound. It felt like truth slowly settling into place. The next few days felt like standing in the eye of a storm. I got up. I went to work. I answered emails. I slept. I breathed. I didn't cry as much as I expected to. Maybe I'd been grieving the relationship long before it ended. On Thursday morning, Ellen texted, "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" I typed back, "I think so." She replied immediately, "Good, because I'm not going to lie to you. He's a mess right now. But I still think you did the right thing. Something about that made my chest loosen. I called her. Brooke, I don't know if I did the right thing, I admitted. It feels right and terrible and confusing. Those things can all be true at once, she said gently. My husband and I talked to Ryan last night. He won't listen. He's insisting he didn't do anything wrong. He's still saying you overreacted. That's his right, I murmured. But I can't keep explaining why being publicly humiliated isn't a neutral event. He'll keep spinning this, Ellen warned. Just don't let his version replace the truth. We talked a little longer. After we hung up, I felt less alone. By the end of the first week, I'd fallen into a rhythm. Wake up, coffee, work, walk, dinner, read, sleep. I wasn't avoiding life. I was living it quietly, without having to brace for the next emotional twist. The absence of tension was startling. It made me realize just how exhausting it had been to constantly navigate Ryan's defensiveness, his moods, his evasiveness. One afternoon, a friend texted, "He's posting again. Should I send screenshots?" I stared at the message. No screenshots, just tell me the general vibe. Victim, 100% victim, healing, growing. Sometimes people abandon you in your darkest hour. That kind of crap. I closed my eyes. Of course. Okay, thanks. I don't need details. 2 weeks into the break, I realized something. Silence can be peaceful, not punishing. I didn't feel empty without him. I felt level. Not walking on eggshells, not monitoring his tone, not wondering what version of him I'd get each day. For the first time in a long time, I had space in my mind that belonged only to me. 3 weeks into the break, it happened. I was folding laundry when I saw headlights through the window, then a knock. I opened the door a couple of inches. Ryan? He looked worn, deflated. Can I come in? I hesitated, then stepped back. Just for a few minutes. He walked into the living room. I've been thinking, he said. About us, about what you said, about everything. And I think I made a mistake. I think I got scared. Scared of what? I asked. Settling. Missing out. Feeling like my whole life was becoming predictable. I know that's stupid. It's not stupid, I said. It's human. But how you acted wasn't fair. He nodded. I know. I know that now. I miss you. I miss us. I want to try again. I hear you, I said. But we can't go back to what we had. Why not? We can fix this. No, I corrected softly. We can rebuild something new, but we can't return to the version of us where I swallowed my discomfort so you didn't have to feel any. I can be better, he said quickly. I can communicate more. I can stop being defensive. Can you? I interrupted gently. Or would you? He opened his mouth, closed it. Because those are different, I said. You would try for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, but eventually you'd start wondering again whether something more exciting is out there. That's a pattern, Ryan. I don't want to lose you. You already let go of me when you made me feel like the villain for simply asking you to respect our relationship. He swallowed hard. I didn't mean to, he whispered. I know, I said. But intention doesn't erase impact. He stared at me. Ryan, are you over Sophie? He stiffened. Yes, he said too fast. I tilted my head. Completely. He hesitated. Then why did you post that photo? His jaw tightened, his eyes dropped. I waited. Finally, he whispered. I was angry. At me? He didn't answer. For what? Silence. Then so quietly I almost didn't hear it. For being so stable. I stared. Stable. You're so together, he said, voice rising with frustration. You're so calm, so organized. I felt like I was the only one who ever got insecure. I wanted you to feel what I felt. My stomach turned. So you posted about your ex to make me insecure. Not insecure, he insisted. just aware. Of what? That I'm not stuck. There it was. Ryan, I said slowly, that's manipulation. He flinched. You weaponized my feelings. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. My voice was calm. And the truth is, you still don't know what you want. His silence was confirmation. I think, I said carefully, that this is where our story ends. His face crumpled, but he didn't argue. He simply nodded. It was the most honest thing he'd given me in months. He walked to the door, paused. What if I figure it out? What if 6 months from now I know for sure what I want? Then maybe we'll talk, I said gently. But I'm not waiting for that day. He nodded once, stepped outside, and closed the door. This time it didn't feel like the end of something I needed. It felt like the beginning of something I hadn't realized I was missing. It's been a month since the door closed behind Ryan for the last time. A month of quiet mornings and peaceful evenings. A month of no cryptic posts, no emotional landmines, no arguments about nothing that were secretly about everything. And it's strange how quickly a life can recalibrate once the weight you were carrying is no longer mistaken for normal. People like to say breakups are dramatic, messy, catastrophic. Mine wasn't. It was a quiet realignment, the sound of a heart finally refusing to negotiate its worth. Ryan hasn't contacted me since that night. I heard he's seeing people, going on casual dates, nothing serious. It didn't sting the way I thought it would. If anything, it confirmed what I already knew. He was chasing the feeling of excitement, validation, not stability, not partnership, certainly not accountability. Ellen surprisingly still texts me. Not often, just small check-ins. Thinking of you today. You did the right thing. There's a tenderness in her messages that makes me ache in an unexpected way. I lost Ryan, but not the mother who saw me more clearly than the man I dated for 3 years. In the past month, I've kept myself busy. I started a new project at work. I've picked up cycling on weekends. I've reconnected with friends I drifted from. I even started therapy. Not because I'm broken, but because I want to understand why I allowed myself to live on emotional crumbs for so long. Last week, my therapist asked me something I hadn't expected. Brooke, what did you learn from all of this? Not what hurt you, what you learned about yourself. And here's what I told her. I learned that feeling safe isn't boring. I learned that stability isn't the absence of passion, it's the foundation for real intimacy. I learned that someone who makes you shrink doesn't deserve a lifetime subscription to your energy. I learned that a person who uses your feelings as leverage is not a partner, but a lesson. I learned that love isn't supposed to feel like guessing what version of someone you'll get each day. I learned that longing is not loyalty. And I learned that I'd rather be alone than be someone's emotional safety net while they daydream about someone else. Here's the truth. I don't know what comes next. Maybe I'll meet someone next month. Maybe next year. Maybe not for a long time. But I'm not scared of that anymore because my life did not collapse when Ryan left. It didn't become empty. It became mine again. And whoever comes next, if someone does, they won't be chosen out of fear or habit or the desire to avoid silence. They'll be chosen because they match the person I am now, not the version of myself I dimmed to keep the peace. There'll be someone who chooses me without hesitation, someone who knows my worth without needing a crisis to recognize it, someone who doesn't need to post about their ex to feel alive. But until then, or even if then never comes, I'm not waiting. I'm not shrinking. I'm not holding space for someone who can't hold space for me. I'm living. I'm moving forward.